Hey, welcome everybody to the Mac Daddy of Market Updates. This is going to be the best market update you see all month. I'm going to bring you things that other agents are not going to bring you, talk about things that nobody else is talking about. So watch the whole thing and let me know what you think. So we're going to talk about the September housing market. I want to share with you what I'm seeing and why you should care about that. You need to care about the housing market because it affects everybody. Whether you're renting, you're owning, you're buying, or you're selling, it doesn't matter. It affects you. It affects all of us. Maybe it doesn't affect you if you live at your parents' house and you know you're going to live there forever and they're just going to give you the house when they die. But even then, you may end up selling it. So the housing market affects everybody. It's almost 20% of our gross domestic product. So 20% of our economy is based off the housing market. So if you don't have a strong, robust housing market, you can't really have a strong, robust economy. I'm not an economist though. So anywho, let's talk about September, all right? So last month, 356 homes sold in Wilson County versus 368 homes last year. So a few homes less, but still over 350 houses were sold last month. Right now on the MLS, October 4th, 2:20 p.m., we have 602 active houses right now, active properties on the MLS. Those have been on the market on an average of 36 days, by the way. So 356 homes sold last month. Interest rates right now are literally twice as high as they were last year. In some cases higher. Most people are probably less likely to sell now, right? If you bought your house at 3% and your next house is going to be at like a 7 or a 7.5, you're probably going to sit on it a little while longer, unless you're looking for your dream house or you're relocating or you're about to get divorced or somebody died. You're probably not very motivated to sell right now. About a third of the stuff that was sold last month was new construction. About a third of what was sold in September of last year was new construction. So with that, we still sold 356 homes. Where's the crash? Where's the correction? It's about what we did last year as a market in Wilson County. Where's the correction? So average days on market in September were around 17. That feels like forever to me right now as a listing agent, primarily the past 2 years, not working a whole lot of buyers, but mostly doing listings. I know, I got very spoiled with my listings all selling that first weekend. I liked them to be on the market for about 4 days to make sure we didn't miss any offers, give me some time to go back and negotiate and take the good offers that we had and make them great offers. So stuff sitting on the market like 17 days feels like forever, and I'm having to reacclimate to that. I know other agents are having to adjust to that too. God, this video is going to take 20 minutes if I don't hurry my ass up. Okay, least expensive house sold last month in Wilson was $104,000. The most expensive house sold in the county last month was $1.7 million. That was a good one. 4 homes sold in the hundreds, 19 sold in the 200s, 105 sold in the 300s. What do you think about that, Rocket Raccoon? 5 houses in Wilson County last month sold for over $1 million. The average price this year, 5 houses sold for over $1 million in Wilson County. Average price this year was $498,178 versus $443,468 last year. That's almost a 12.5% increase year over year. I ask you again, where's the crash? Interest rates are almost 8%. Home prices still went up 12.5% last month in Wilson County. Double-digit increases for many months in a row. Where's the crash? Okay. Holding to that pattern, assuming things go up like that again. Next year, the average price in September will probably be around $561,000, assuming a 12% increase over $498,000. Now again, we had 19 houses sell that were 200s, 105 in the 300s. Not every house is going to cost you $500,000 in Wilson County, but that's where we're at as far as the average price point. Again, new construction drives a lot of that because they don't build new construction starter homes. They're not building new construction 1,300 square foot ranches, right? New construction, A lot of that's 3,000 square foot now. That's the market for it. So I'm not here to FOMO you. You know what FOMO is. But I believe, like others, the best time to buy a house was in the past. Josh Kirby taught me that. Second best time is right now. So I'm not saying there's not some pain if you're wanting to buy. Not saying everybody can or should buy right now. But I want you to know exactly where you stand regarding buying your first house or buying your next house or your dream home. Be educated about it, okay? So that's where we're at in the market. For those basic stats, you get most from a lot of other people's market updates. Now, here's where it gets good, in my opinion. On average, homes in Wilson sold for about $5,500 under asking price last month, okay? Think about where we were a year ago when the average was over asking price. Not much, but it was over. The most somebody paid last month over asking was $30,000. And I think that happened about 3 or 4 times. I wonder what the motivation was there in a market where everything is going, you know, staying a little longer on market. We're selling stuff a little under asking price. There were still 3 or 4 people that paid 30 grand over asking. I'd really like to know more about their thought process and their agent's thought process on that. Now, this is gold right here. It looks like the best deal that somebody got last month. They got one for $109,900 under asking price. 100 grand under asking price. So was it ridiculously overpriced? What happened there? Again, I'd like to know the story, but for the agent that got something for 100 under asking price, good job. Negotiating award given, achievement unlocked. Now, let's deep dive this. And again, I don't think you're getting this in the other market updates. If my team is watching, and you should be, this is the kind of stuff I want you to be giving to your clients, which are my clients by default, our clients. Homes that went under contract in the first 3 days last month averaged 99% of their asking price. And several of those sold for over asking. So if you went under contract when you were fresh and hot and just brought to market, you averaged at least 99% of your asking price. Here's the flip side of that. And this is where I'm deep diving and giving you that value. Homes that spent 21 days or more on the market averaged a little over $21,000 under asking price. So it's like every day your house stayed on the market last month, the value of it went down $1,000. So 3 weeks on the market, you averaged 21 grand under what you're asking. So I'm curious, if you're watching this, why do you think that is? Why do you think houses that stayed on the market 21 days or longer sold for $21,000 less than the houses that went under contract that first weekend? So again, what I'm seeing, I think you can be patient in a lot of cases. Homes are not, I wrote this down, it's a good thing. Buyers are taking their time right now, okay? Buyers are going back for multiple showings. They're being cautious. They're not having to bite on the first house that they see. They're not having to make an offer right then because they feel like it's probably going to be there for a little while. Sellers are paying closing costs now. Again, we're back to like that 2018, 2019, kind of when I first got into the business. Sellers are having to pay some closing costs. They're having to pay title. Buyers are not offering appraisal gaps anymore. Not that offers that I'm seeing or stuff that I'm hearing about. If it doesn't appraise, people aren't throwing cash at that. Home inspections aren't really pass-fail anymore. Buyers are asking for repairs. And a lot of buyers are walking during the home inspection, just like they have been the last year plus, because rates are high, because prices are high. So if it doesn't feel right, they're going to walk, okay? So these are all great things to know if you're thinking about buying a house and some of the ways that you can win despite the interest rates. And these are great things to know if you're selling a house, because I want you to know if you're thinking about selling a house, it's going to look a lot different than it looked in March, in January, last year. It's going to be a little different, okay? Buyers are expecting more. they're pushing for more and they're getting it in a lot of cases. Other stuff that I'm seeing, I think we got a lot of sellers that still aren't listening to their agents, and they're still trying to price things, we'll say, very optimistically for the seller's part, and it's not working, okay? It is not working. I've still got 4 or 5 houses that I look at every morning to see if they're under contract that I knew were priced too high, but the sellers thought, hey, we'll give it a chance. You know, we can come down, but I really think that we can get this, and none of them are getting it. None of them are getting it, at least on the ones that I'm personally tracking, that I have personal experience with. But I think sellers have to look at themselves in the mirror and realize this is not the market it was. You have to price accordingly. And if you price too high, then it's going to cost you at least 21 grand week 3 on the market. So you're losing time. You're going to pay a little more in your property taxes on the closing date, which is probably a negligible amount. But they're trying to get more by asking for more, and it sounds counterintuitive, but that's not how it works, okay? It's not how it works. So good news is, if you bought a house with me in the first 4 months of this year or anytime over the last 2 years, you did good. Congratulations. You got a great rate. You got a price that still looks decent compared to the way things are now. And you're probably well on your way to having some really nice equity in your house, especially if you bought last year. If you bought 2 years with me, you've probably got a lot of equity in your house. I've talked to several people that, you know, have anywhere from 50 to 100 grand extra equity in their house now than when they bought it, and they didn't buy it that long ago. So congratulations for everybody that took the leap of faith in the last couple of years. I said, man, you know, prices may go down in 2022, but I'm going to buy anyway, because they bought it 2.5%, 3%, 3.5%. And now they'd be paying those high prices plus a 7. So anyway, enough about them. What do I think is going to happen? I think we're still going to see prices maintain and slightly increase every month, because inventory is still going to be down. It's going to be low. Again, if you bought your house 2 years ago at a 2.5% interest rate, even if it was worth $50,000 more now, would you sell it to go buy something else at a 7% rate or 7.5%? That doesn't really make sense unless, again, one of the big D's, death or divorce, job relocation, or you've got enough equity to go buy your dream house. You know, if I could sell my house and go buy a $2 million house and keep my payment about the same, maybe that makes sense. Those are hypothetical numbers. So I think inventory being low is going to continue to pressure prices to stay kind of up there. I do think you're going to have not as many buyers into the fold right now. They're worried. Definitely not as many sellers, but we're still going to have more buyers than sellers. So that's where I think we're headed. Everybody that I've talked to on the lending side of things still thinks rates are going to go up for the rest of this year. So what looks like a bad rate today might look like a really good rate come December. I don't know. So wrapping up, here's my call to action. If you've made it this far, God bless you. I hope you got some great knowledge. But here's what I want you to do, okay? The housing market's important, and it affects you and your family, no matter what your situation is. When it comes to this stuff, I don't want you to guess. I want you to know. If you want to know where you stand regarding your ability to buy a house, your next house, your dream house, I want you to call me. If you want to know what the market is like in your neighborhood, we've talked Wilson County, but I can have this conversation about DeKalb County, Sumner County, Rutherford County, Davidson County, God forbid, even Robertson freaking County or Clarksville. Don't make me drive to Clarksville. Anyway, if you want to know what the market's like in your neighborhood, I want you to call me so we can have this conversation. If you'd like to have an annual equity review of your current home, I want you to call me. If you're wondering how much cash you're sitting on potentially for a HELOC, for a refi, you don't want to refi right now probably, but if you just want to know what your house is worth and you realize that the Zestimate is trash, that the online estimates are all trash, call me, we'll come out, we'll sit down, and we'll talk about how much your house is worth, okay? Those are the call to actions. That's what I want you to do. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. I love you all. Thank you for your support. My mom is doing great right now. Thank y'all for asking that. We'll talk to you soon.